Welcome back to Watch What You Could Do. Okay, so a bit late recording, well, that's usually the case. But when I have to be up in the morning the next day, it can be a bit troublesome, so just record enough for one part for today. Because I spent most of the day editing just like, well actually there were 4 parts total of one of the upcoming October LPs. Takes forever to edit videos sometimes, I mean seriously. But anyways, the sky was so clear and peaceful. The flowers were blooming beautifully. Spring was in the air, and the bird just chirped on and on. I sat next to Oni-chan on the bench by the fountain. He smiled at me. Yoshikun was a father and now was a grandmother. What? 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 If this isn't a dream sequence, then what the fuck? This escalated really quickly. Yoshikun caught up with us. He was waving at me from afar. Bird kind of turned it down with a chirp there. There was a woman walking next to him I knew her very well. Wait. Wait. They handed me the baby. It felt so soft and nice, and so small in my arms. We spoke quietly as we all watched the baby in my arms. This is my grandchild. What big eyes. It looked just like the two of them. Is it a girl? I didn't even know its name yet. I told the baby that I was its grandma. Yoshikun called the baby by its name. A pair of small hands waved about in the air. They're such tiny hands. Everyone continued smiling at each other. They were all so happy. But it was all a lie! Yeah, I kind of guessed that because that would have escalated too quickly. And one thing that confused me more than that is that voice. Wasn't that Minatsu? At least it sounded like her. Was that her? Is she like in like this perfect case scenario? Just like oh yeah, just like she ships Yoshiki and Minatsu all the way. It originally seemed like it was gonna be like, oh, she ships Otome and Yoshiki above all else, but secretly she was rooting for Minatsu the whole time. It was the future I had longed for, where he got married to a robot and had a child. But it won't be coming true. It's not canon! The next moment everything disappeared from in front of me. I realized I was back in the world of darkness and light. It was just like a fairy tale. It was getting hard to watch myself being so happy. I closed my eyes. With that, I fell asleep again. Wait, if that's the case, how can you even put the date and all that there? I mean, wouldn't that be irrelevant? If that's all there is now, is she's living in her own dreams? Or something? Or what? I realized that I was surrounded by floating cherry blossoms. I spread out my hands to the petals that glowed in the moonlight. Wait, could this be the point where this happened in Otne's route? Are we gonna see it again, but it's from her perspective a bit? As I looked up, I saw the everlasting cherry tree. Strange, I thought I'd become the tree itself. Was this another dream? Or was I dreaming someone else's dream? This dream felt a little different than the other dreams, but I couldn't tell why. Then, I felt someone's eyes upon me. I looked their way. It was Yoshikun. He was staring at me, surprise was written across his face. So even she didn't expect to meet Yoshiyuki in that dream then. Then I realized something. Yoshikun also had the power to see into the dreams of others. That explained everything. This tree itself had given him life. It wasn't strange that he should be able to interfere with the dream circuit. In the face, I was most definitely in a dream. But the Yoshikun before me was not an illusion. He was the real Yoshikun.
さくらさん、これは夢なんですか?
And yet I couldn't bring myself to meet his eyes. I remembered the promise I made to Otmei-chan. In the end, I had failed to control the tree. Yoshikun, the people on this island. I had failed to protect them all. Ah, yeah, because later on, Otmei ended up being the one to kill the tree. And then at some point it just gets resolved, so obviously she does something in the background. And while I'm just like trying to speculate what she could do in the background that causes this kind of turnaround, I might as well just, shut up and just freaking let the plot tell me itself, because we're finally gonna get our answers. Probably not in this part though. And now I would have to tell him everything.
夢。これは僕の夢。君にね、話さなきゃならないことがいっぱいあるんだ。長くなりそうなんだけど、聞いてくれるかな？
はい。
まず最初に、ごめんなさい。今、初音島で起こってる事件は全部僕のせいなんだ。
どういうことです？
枯れない桜の話。昔、ここに咲いてた桜にはね、本当に人の願いを叶える力があったんだ。正真正銘の魔法の木。人が人を大切に思う力を集めて、困ってる人のために奇跡を起こす。願えば叶う。祈れば通じる。一人一人の力が足りなくても、たくさんの心があれば、みんなハッピーになれる。そんな、夢みたいな桜の木があったの。でも、その桜は枯れちゃった。枯らしちゃった人がいたんだ。
I chose my words carefully, explaining everything from the beginning. Grandma's cherry blossom tree, it was a story from a long time ago. Grandma's cherry blossom tree? Wait. Like I've said before, I have no idea about, the original Dark Capo, so who could she be referring to? Her grandmother or what? It also brings back to that mention of, I can't even remember, it's like some description of a girl or something. I remember her mentioning when she was sitting by the tree in a previous part, which at first I thought was maybe just talking about her, but I remember the eye colors being different, but I can't quite remember what eye color it was, but it wasn't blue. So I'm just getting more and more confused here. Could it be the grandmother or what?
魔法の桜にはね、致命的なバグがあったんだ。だから、枯らさないといけなかった。そもそも、そんな力が間違っているのかもしれない。願えば叶う世界なんて、夢物語だもんね。でもね、僕はそんな夢があってもいいと思った。世の中には本当に困っている人がいるから、そんな人たちの力になれればいい。バグを直せば、ちゃんと正しく動作するようにすれば、きっとみんな幸せになれるとそう思ったんだ。だから僕はアメリカでずっとこの魔法の桜の研究をしていた。でもね、そうやって僕がこの桜の研究をしてる間にも、外の世界では 時間がどんどん流れちゃって、急にね、寂しくなったんだ。僕の大好きだった人たちは、どんどん結婚して子供を作って幸せになっていくのに、僕は、一体いつまで一人ぼっちでいなきゃならないんだろうって。そして、本当はいけないことだったんだけど、アメリカで作ったこの枯れない桜のサンプルを初音島に持ち帰って願ったんだ。僕にも家族が欲しいですって。もしかしたらあったかもしれない現在のもう一つの可能性を見せてくださいって、そう願ったの。その願いから生まれたのが
Memories of that day flooded back to me as I looked at Yoshikun. It was a silver wonderland. The ground was blanketed in snow. The everlasting cherry tree was in full bloom once more. The flower petals danced around me in a torrent, and my wish was born. I named him Sakura Yoshiki. It was something that I shouldn't have wished for. With that, I trailed off.
じゃあ、やっぱり俺は、さくらさんの子供ってこと？
Had he already suspected it? Yoshikun stared at me. I escaped his gaze by looking back up at the cherry blossom tree.
そう。君は、この桜の魔法が引き起こした奇跡。
Which also meant...
本来、この世界には存在してはいけないもの。この桜の魔法が届く範囲だけでしか存在できない。
Which again explains why he needed to have that charm thing when he went on the skiing trip, I suppose.
でもね、この桜はオリジナルと違う。願いを叶えるルーチンが不完全だったんだ。純粋でささやかな願いだけじゃなくて、誰のどんな願いでも無差別に叶えちゃうの。最初はほんの一枝だったけど、この桜は人々の夢を集めて地面に根を張ってどんどん大きくなる。今までは僕が桜の力を制御してたけど、結局制御しきれなくなっちゃって、不幸な事件が起こるのを一生懸命止めようとしたけど、僕の力だけじゃ防ぎきれなかった。
And now the tree's magic was completely out of control. Because of my powerlessness, I had lost control of my own creation. I was so pathetic, angry tears formed in my eyes.
ごめん。本当にごめん。全部僕のせいで。今はまだ小さな事故で済んでいるけど、制御するものを失ったら、もっと多くの願いを無差別に叶え始めてしまう。
It was only a matter of time.
そうなってしまったら、大変なことになってしまう。だから、桜を枯らせないといけないんだけど。だけど、桜を枯らしちゃったら、義行くんは。
My voice choked off. If I let the tree die, then everything people wished for would disappear. Yoshikun would disappear. Yoshikun lifted his head as if coming to a decision.
さくらさん、もしかして音姉はそのことを知って？
You know, honestly, you only saw this scene in Otne's route, and it's exactly the same scene, only it's from Sakura's perspective, so... Does this confirm the canon pairing is Otme with Yoshiki then? Of course she did. She knew that I had lost control of the tree. She knew that I was the only person who could bring the disasters to an end.
この島の人たちを助けるために桜を枯らさなきゃならないって。ごめんね。全部僕が悪いんだ。僕のわがままで島のみんなに迷惑をかけて。
And in the end, I had placed the burden of decision on Otmei-chan's shoulders. Yoshikun, I only managed to cause you pain by creating you.
ヨシユキくんにも乙女ちゃんにもこんなに辛い思いをさせて、みんなを不幸にして。ごめんなさい。僕が余計なことさえしなければ。
I was stewing in self-pity again.
ねえ、さくらさん。
As I looked up at him, my face full of tears, Yoshikun smiled, just like he always smiled at me.
俺は感謝してますよ。俺は幸せでした。
His words brought new tears to my eyes.
ヨシユキくん。
普通の人よりずっと短い時間だったかもしれないけど、家族や妹や友達や大切な人に出会えて本当に良かったって思ってます。俺にこんな大切な時間を与えてくれたことに感謝してます。だからありがとう、母さん。
The moment he hugged me, a third wave of tears fell from my eyes.
ヨシユキくん。
He held me tightly to his chest. I couldn't stop crying. They weren't tears of sadness. I just couldn't control them. I cried like a baby. After a while, I started calming down. Yoshikun spoke quietly and directly.
さて、急がなきゃ。多分、大人一人じゃ決心できないだろうから。
He let go of me. The time had come for our true goodbye. There were so many things that I wanted to tell him. I wanted to tell him how much I loved him, how I wanted to be with him forever, how happy he had made me. I would have to put all those feelings into my final words.
さよなら、ヨシユキくん。
This was the last time we would ever speak. Yoshikun nodded and started fading away. He had severed the tie between our dreams. I'm glad I had a chance to speak with him at the end. Now I knew for certain that creating him was anything but a mistake.
愛してるよ。
I muttered the words to the place where Yoshikun had been standing. I was sure he sensed how I felt even if I didn't say it out loud. But I said it to myself anyways. This dream too would end soon. When the tree died, I would have no more dreams. But I would probably never wake up either. I closed my eyes. The dreams were coming to an end. That night, under the guidance of an innocent magician, the everlasting cherry tree was put to rest. I was listless. My head hurt too. I felt like I had been sleeping for a long time. I felt disorientated as though I were still dreaming. My consciousness returned to me in the darkness. It was strange. Why was I conscious again?
桜が咲いている。
What the hell? I thought Otmei-chan killed the tree. I remained still and set my mind to wander through the vagueness. I opened my eyes and finally realized. A season had passed. I felt the warmth of sunlight. The flowers and grass shone brightly in the sun. The breeze was fresh and comfortably cool. I smelled a sweet scent on the wind. It was spring. But Mei-chan had released the everlasting cherry tree's magic. The horrible accidents wouldn't happen anymore. She had done what I couldn't do, and because of that, people all across Hatsune Island were happy like before. I saw the students happily walking home from school. Young girls were chatting with each other, occasionally stopping to look in the window of a store. Families were bringing their children out to shop. A little girl was holding on to her mother's sleeve as she walked. Everyone seemed so happy as they went about their business. I couldn't believe that this city was surrounded by chaos just a few weeks earlier. The walls had been repainted where they were burned in the fire. The sign that had fallen was replaced with a new one. The scars that dotted the city were starting to heal. It would still take some time to repair everything, but people were starting to move on. Slowly but surely. The winter had moved on and spring's awakening had arrived. It was all over, at last. I closed my eyes and thought. I was able to check out the island's progress, and I had nothing else to ask for. I felt like everything had reached its natural conclusion. The cherry blossoms fell early this year. My time in this world was as fleeting as the morning dew. There was nothing left for me to do. This is it.
あれ
I saw my house. There was a girl standing in front of it. Yume-chan. She looked back at the house for only a moment. Nanaka-chan. Huh? Manatsu-chan. Anzu-chan. Goku-chan. What the hell's going on? I note my Jan too. She was standing there alone beneath the cherry blossom trees. Well, is it like just like something to do with all of them combined? Like we'll do something just like yeah, but secondary characters they screw them. Male characters especially, Suganami, Wataru, they're not even relevant anymore. Well, they never were really. Well, sort of. Just staring vacantly off into the distance.
どうしてなんだろう。義行くんのことは覚えていないはずなのに。
Oh, maybe it's that. Well, in that case, why don't you show Wataru and Suganami as well? I mean, for crying out loud, they're his friends. You may not hang out with them often, but come on.
もう誰の記憶からも消えてしまったはずなのに。それなのに。なんでそんなに悲しそうな顔をしているの？
More if it's completely unrelated. That'd be a twist, wouldn't it? All of them looked like they had lost something important and had an incurable hole in their hearts. They seemed empty.
覚えているんだ。
How can you just assume that just because they just happen to look sad?
たとえおぼろげだとしても、はっきりとじゃなかったとしても、義行くんが確かにこの世界に存在したことを、一緒に過ごしていたことを、生きていたことを。
Wasn't there something I could do for them? Their feelings were so strong. Strong enough that they still remembered him even after the magic was gone. That just made it sadder. I knew this world wasn't meant to be kind to us. People treat dreams as something to be ashamed of. We put in so much effort to reach them no matter how far away they are. But it very rarely happens. Love can give you power. If you make a wish, it will be granted. If you pray, it will be heard. This might be only true in the world of dreams. But I prayed again. If I prayed and wished hard enough, my dream might come true.
どうか、
Are we really doing this?
どうか、お願いです。あの子たちの思いが、こんなにも人を大切に思う純粋な思いが、悲しむことしかできないなんて、そんなことがあるなんておかしい。幸せになれないなんて、絶対におかしいよ。魔法の思いの力なら、この思いの奇跡を見せてください。
next moment, the wind blew through and shook the branches of the cherry blossom tree. That's right. One witch made a wish. If you make a wish, it will be granted. If you pray, it will be heard. Everyone can be happy when everyone's hearts come together. It was the end of the dream and the beginning of reality. It happened one day in spring. Are we approaching the ending of this ride already? There was a sad grey sky up above. There was a huge clock tower and castle-like buildings lined the streets. I looked exhausted as I stood there all alone. A horse was pulling a wagon down the cobblestone road. I also heard the footsteps of people passing by. They all passed me by without stopping. I didn't know any of them. I didn't know the city. All I could do was stare at my surroundings. The wind was cold and my breath was white. Why am I here? Have I always been here? Is it because I have no place to go home? Because I have no place to go? Both were true, but neither was the right answer. A nameless anxiety overwhelmed me. There were too many things I didn't know. There was something in my hand, I squeezed it tightly.
こんにちは、お嬢さん。どうかしたの?
Eh? I heard a voice. It was a beautiful voice as clear as a bell. I saw a lady in front of me. She was smiling at me as if I were an old and cherished friend.
僕のこと? そうだよ。そんな世界の終わりが来たような暗い表情をしたりして。それじゃあ、可愛らしいショートヘアが台無し。どうかしたの?
She asked me. I looked down as I didn't know what to say. She noticed my hesitancy and quickly changed the subject.
綺麗な薄紅色で、あなたに似ていて、とても可愛らしい。それのこと。
She pointed at the tree branch that I was holding, but I didn't know what it was. I asked her, dreading the answer.
これ、なんだか知ってるの? 桜じゃないの? 見たことのない種類だけど。
I couldn't say why, but the name was familiar. The next moment, the flower petals danced as they fell. Huh? Okay, there's definitely gonna be an epilogue after the credits, otherwise that made zero sense. So, obviously that was Sakura. She looked incredibly different there, though. But who's the other girl? Is it like a kind of scenario where it's just like, well, if you had gone through Jack Capo, the first one, you might have recognized that voice or something? I don't even know. That's obviously not the end, though. If it didn't have an epilogue after this credit sequence, I'm going to be mightily pissed off. Because that's not how you do an ending at all. It's all in Japanese, with the exception of the DJ there. Man, if this... well... I'll have to do... I don't even know. Because... the one reason I've been dreading the Endless LP is, one, because it's always depressing when an LP finally ends, and two, it's like, after an LP talk thing, and I'm just like I said, it's just like, I've got to be up early tomorrow, so I wasn't expecting to get through this thing so quickly, you know? Well, it all depends on what we see right at the end, I suppose, after this credit sequence. Because if there is an epilogue, which I imagine there is, I'm going to put a cliffhanger there, so if you're expecting anything beyond that, You're out of luck, because that'll be in the next part when I get the recording. These credits go on a bit, quite a while. Oakley Studio. The opening was in Japanese, as was Beautiful Flower, especially was also in Japanese. Time Will Shine in Japanese. If I Wish is also in Japanese. This one's completely in Japanese. It looks like it's got free, but it's not a free. Little Distance, also in Japanese, with extra waffles. If you don't know what I'm talking about these things and those. They look like waffles. Spring has come in Japanese for the ending theme. Would that mean this song playing is Spring Has Come then? Late and they all come again. Hero, or however the hell the pronunciation is. Web. The Matchford party content is gonna be on this recording. Because it's always grace. And more Japanese. Circus going to the vibe. Circus. Come on, Epilogue, come on. What? Oh, well. Hold up here, you son of a bitch. This can't be. Okay, I'm incredibly confused then. There's that. So, all the CGs. And this essentially explains nothing to me. I am incredibly confused. Like, ridiculously, incredibly confused. What the fuck? Maybe if I analyze that ending, I'm confused. Is it? Somebody explain what the fuck that ending was all about. That ending just felt lacking, because it made no sense. It didn't explain how the cherry trees, kind of like revived. I'm kind of assuming that maybe it's a case where, well, even if it's that case where it's like only like around spring where they bloom and like Sakura can like go back to the real world or something, or just like, or was that the whole thing just? God damn it, that's a bit of a mind fuck. Somebody clear this up, man. This is just confusing. But I did see, interviews, so we'll check that out in the next part, which might be the final part, I suppose. Seriously, that made no freaking sense. Confusing ending! Oh man, that was just... Yeah, just like... We've pretty much gone through it all now, so... Spoil it if it has any spoilers. Explain what the fuck that was. And anyways, I suppose I'll see you next time for the... Man, I'm still just kind of baffled by that. Well, anyways, essentially, see you next time, viewers. See you next time.